I think a lot of people have the misconception that craft means small batch. That is not what that means at all, in my mind. Small batch can be craft cannabis, but you can also grow craft cannabis in a large scale facility as well.
Yeah, so I don't think there's any like certain size that designates whether it's craft or not. Craft to me is much more about the process, the hands-on, individualized, specialized attention for each genetic. Now you are going to see craft quality in small batches way more often than you're going to see it from large facilities, just because most of the large facilities do not have a craft focus, despite the fact that a lot of them love to throw craft on their label or call their weed craft cannabis. A lot of these big operators are way weaker than they let on. Capital is not the advantage that they all said it was. They thought they were automatically going to win because they had capital. And what you've seen is the well-capitalized companies, many of them have failed. The people who got big quickly have failed. There's a few large MSOs that are doing okay, but they're not doing as great as they were. And what have they done? They've shut down operations in Michigan, in California, in Oklahoma. They can't compete in competitive markets. In the competitive markets, the people winning it are the people who come from legacy cannabis, the people who love it, the people who have focused on building great brands that are actually representative of who they are and what they love. And a lot of them are remediating or even pre-mediating because they're worried they might fail. So they just remediate all of the product to be sure that it does pass. And, I've never had product remediated. I'm not an expert on that. Some people say it can be done without harming the product at all. But I think the general consensus is that you're killing terpenes and volatile compounds off. And the way they do it, many times, it's impossible that volatile compounds are not being destroyed in the process because they are so delicate. So to me, craft means trying to bring, regardless of if you're growing one plant or 10,000 plants, trying to bring out the fullest expression of that plant. And that's not the focus of most facilities. They want to grow good weed, but they want to get the biggest yield for the lowest cost in the most efficient manner with the fewest touch points. She would often have brickweed, but sometimes she would get skunk from like her biker friends, and it would be green, loud, offensive, great cannabis. And so I got to do that. And then sometimes friends' older brothers were in with the hippies that were growing, and we started getting some dank. And then it, sort of gradually transitioned to now all we smoke is, dank kind flowers.
The skunk weed that we get today is a pale comparison to the skunk weed from back in the day. I don't know where those genetics are or how they grew it or what happened, but we need to do whatever we can to bring back that skunk. That stinky, nasty. I didn't smoke it for the longest time. I was like, oh my God, there's a dead skunk around here. They're smoking that good skunk bud, And I was like, that smells gross. It smells just like there's a skunk.
Yeah, skunk spray.
And
so much.
But then I smoked it one time, and then I was like, "Oh, now I can."
Incredible. We're down in the basement in my garden smoking a joint. We're
potheads
watching the grass grow, looking at new genetics, having a nice. It was a
bunch of weed nerds,
sunny
afternoon.
Exactly, great day, not a care in the world.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I hear bap, 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 bap. I knew, it shook the house. I felt it in my bones. There was no doubt. I knew from the pit of my soul, this is the cops, and the door is going to explode within seconds. This is the knock they do before they smash the door in.
Right.
This isn't a tap, tap, we want to talk to you. This isn't, I don't know, growing up, did you ever have friends who would show up, you guys be burning down or something, they'd pound on the door to scare you.
Scare the shit out of you.
Like, oh, I've had that happen. That's different. It's loud. It startles you. No friend would have hit my door that hard.
Sure,
I knew this is the cops, and they are coming in regardless of if I answer that door. in kitty corner from us across the street, there was like an older woman who had some kind of a medical episode, or maybe I don't know what happened because there was cops there too. It wasn't just ambulances, but for whatever reason, like she needed to go to the hospital, and there was like one or two ambulances and like 2 or 3 cop cars, and they needed somewhere to park, and they parked in my front yard. And I had, I forget what was it, Death Star growing? I don't know what was growing, but it was the carbon filter could not contain it. It was skunky. You were going to smell it if you were in our driveway or in our yard.
Oh, shit.
So they must have smelled it when they parked in the yard. That makes sense. So then that night at 2:00, so the cop probably smelled it, went back to the station, told the narcotics detective, hey, this house is definitely growing weed. And then don't think you're going to be able to go out and raise a bunch of money. You're not. Don't try to build some big, brand new, beautiful thing from scratch. They have overbuilt infrastructure, both in retail and cultivation and processing in almost all the mature states, because as everybody rushed in, and they are now failing, and you can take them over with a lot less money. In some cases, like if you're a cultivator, they're very, very tough markets. You better be good, but you can just like in Michigan, in Colorado, in Washington, in California, you can just walk in and lease a ready-built licensed facility with little to no money down. You're going to have the money to operate it. You're going to have to be able to do it. But the barriers to entry are now lower than they have ever been. In hindsight, I would have just focused on my brand, dialing in the craft, hunting genetics, and stacking up as much money as possible.